You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop it.
We're about to jump into one of the biggest controversies in the WNBA right now. It's Caitlin Clark versus the critics, with Stephen A. Smith and Dan Patrick on one side and Sheryl Swoopes on the other. So, why is the league's most talked about rookie stirring up so much drama? And why are some of the most recognizable voices in sports suddenly picking sides? Let's start with Caitlin Clark. This rookie has been shattering records all over the league. She's currently leading the WNBA with 8.3 assists per game, which is unbelievable, especially when you remember she's also the most prolific scorer in women's college basketball history.
And for everybody who talked about, she's just a shooter, she's already set the all-time rookie assist record for somebody who's the greatest scorer in college basketball history.
But here's where things get wild. Not everyone is riding the Caitlin Clark hype train. Some WNBA veterans, including Sheryl Swoopes, have been throwing some serious shade. And trust me, what's unfolding next is something you won't expect. This situation goes beyond just one player. It's really about where the WNBA is heading in the future. New stars like Clark are transforming the game, and that shift has clearly made some people uncomfortable. What's happening right now could end up reshaping the entire league. So get ready, because things are about to get intense. But before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep bringing great content to amazing viewers like you. Alright, now let's jump straight into the drama that has the WNBA world buzzing. WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes just sparked a major reaction from the Caitlin Clark fanbase, and let's just say the fallout hasn't been pretty.
Go ahead and look. Everywhere you turn, Indiana Fever is breaking records. All Sheryl Swoopes did was validate all the speculation that there's folks hating on Caitlin Clark. That's all she did.
Here's what happened. Sheryl Swoopes was discussing the Indiana Fever's recent success, and somehow she left out one very obvious name: Caitlin Clark. Yes, the same rookie who's been lighting up the court and smashing records all season. But it didn't stop there. Swoopes went a step further and made a comment that instantly set Clark's fans off. She dropped this statement: "Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and immediately do what she's doing right now? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen." And just like that, the reaction exploded. That's a pretty strong jab at a rookie who's quickly becoming one of the most talked about players in the league. Now you might think maybe Swoopes just misspoke or had an off day, but that wasn't the case. She doubled down, continuing to question whether Clark could successfully make the jump to the WNBA. To many fans, it sounded like she was evaluating a completely different player than the one everyone else is watching dominate. The internet wasted no time responding. Clark supporters flooded social media, and the reaction spread almost as fast as Clark's signature deep three-pointers. Some fans even started creating "Don't Be a Sheryl" t-shirts. And when people start making merch to roast you, you know you've definitely hit a nerve. It wasn't just fans either. Sports analysts and commentators quickly joined the debate, calling out Swoopes and pushing back against her take. For many observers, the conclusion seemed clear. Her comments were way off the mark.
Respectfully, Sheryl Swoopes, you have any idea how that makes you look? You have any idea how that serves to stain any kind of critique of Caitlin Clark, because that gives fodder to those who believe she's being hated on and ostracized to some degree? Do you realize that, Sheryl Swoopes, you're insane to do that?
After the backlash started pouring in, Swoopes tried to defend herself. She pushed back by saying something along the lines of, "You talk about whoever and whatever you want on your podcast, right? So why can't I?" On the surface, that sounds like a fair argument. But here's the catch. When you're a WNBA legend, your words carry a lot more influence. And right now, those comments are carrying some serious weight. Swoopes also attempted to shift the conversation by bringing up her relationships with other players, seemingly trying to show that she's not just criticizing or hating. But for many people watching this unfold, that explanation isn't really convincing. To a lot of fans and analysts, it feels like the damage is already done, and people aren't buying the defense.
Sheryl Swoopes, take notes. You ain't playing no more. But you're a Hall of Famer and a champion and a basketball savant. You know good and damn well you had no business talking about the Indiana Fever without mentioning Caitlin Clark. Come on, Sheryl Swoopes.
Here's the wild part. Swoopes' comments may have completely backfired. Instead of taking attention away from Caitlin Clark, they actually pushed her even further into the spotlight. Suddenly, everyone was talking about her. Even people who never paid much attention to the WNBA before started tuning in just to see what all the hype was about. And when the buzz gets this big, you know what happens next. The heavyweights step in. Some of the most recognizable voices in sports commentary are now jumping into the debate, and what they have to say is something you definitely don't want to miss. But before we go further, if you think Caitlin Clark is incredible, hit that like button and subscribe for more content. It helps us reach more fans and keep bringing viewers like you even more coverage of Clark and the WNBA. Alright, let's get into the big names that just entered the conversation. We're talking about Stephen A. Smith and Dan Patrick, two of the most influential voices in sports media. When these guys weigh in, people pay attention. And they didn't hold back when it came to Clark and the criticism surrounding her. First up is Stephen A. Smith. If you know him, you know he's never afraid to speak his mind. This time, he came out strongly in Clark's defense, taking direct aim at Sheryl Swoopes. And let's just say, his comments were explosive. Smith said,
No matter how great you were as a player, Sheryl Swoopes, there is no woman who should negate mentioning Caitlin Clark and what Caitlin Clark is doing for the game.
But Stephen A. didn't stop there. He went on to explain exactly why Caitlin Clark is such a massive deal right now. According to him, it's not just about her performance on the court. Clark is driving record attendance, massive TV ratings, and huge merchandise sales. In other words, her impact goes far beyond basketball. She's helping elevate the entire league. Then there's the off-court effect. Clark isn't just playing the game, she's transforming it. From media attention to fan engagement, her presence is bringing a level of energy and visibility the WNBA hasn't seen in years. Now, let's move on to Dan Patrick. This is someone who has been covering sports for decades, so when he recognizes talent, people take notice. Patrick didn't hesitate to call Clark a phenomenon. And in sports, that's not a label that gets handed out casually. But Patrick didn't stop at compliments. He went even further and made a strong argument for why Clark deserves to win Rookie of the Year.
Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. And if I said to any of these people who think Caitlin Clark is not the Rookie of the Year, I'd say, who would you want to start your franchise with? Now, I'm not going to put Asia Wilson in there. I'm just saying between these two. Angel Reese is a wonderful player, but she does not compare to what and who Caitlin Clark is.
Patrick explained it this way. Clark isn't just putting up points. She's also rewriting the record books with her passing. He pointed out that she's already set the all-time rookie assist record while still being one of the league's top scorers. That kind of combination is incredibly rare. It's like being both the head chef and the top waiter in the same restaurant, something you almost never see. But things really got interesting when Patrick brought Angel Reese into the conversation. Now, he made it clear that Reese is a very talented player in her own right. Still, he didn't hold back when comparing the two. Patrick said, Angel Reese is a wonderful player, but she doesn't compare to what and who Caitlin Clark is. That's a pretty bold statement, but Patrick supported his argument by highlighting Clark's unique influence on the game and the attention she's bringing to the league. So, why does all of this matter? Because when voices like Stephen A., Smith, and Dan Patrick weigh in, it's more than just commentary. These are figures who shape opinions across the entire sports world. Their backing doesn't only support Clark, it also shines a light on a larger conversation happening inside the WNBA. And that's where this debate goes deeper. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about one standout rookie, it's about something much bigger. Caitlin Clark's rise has sparked a massive debate, but one thing is clear, her performance is speaking louder than the criticism. With influential voices like Stephen A., Smith, and Dan Patrick stepping in, the conversation has only grown bigger. This moment isn't just about Clark, it represents a turning point for the WNBA. As the league evolves, new stars are reshaping the game. drawing more fans, more attention, and more respect for women's basketball. Clark and players like her aren't just breaking records, they're helping usher the WNBA into a bold new era.